This has to be one of the more open fields we've had in the women's side in some time, where Iga Swiatek, can you believe there's a number 5 next to her name at Roland Garros? That's absolutely unheard of for the 4-time Grand Slam champion.
It floored me because I'm looking at the draw on Thursday. I see Sabalenka up at the top, of course, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what's Swiatek doing in the same section of the draw? And then I'm like, oh, right, she's seated third now. And oh, wait a minute, no, she's not. She's seated fifth. And so that's definitely a different look for her, but it's one that unfortunately is deserved with the inconsistencies in her game throughout the clay court season. I mean, she's gone 6-3 on clay, which is, a 2-to-1 ratio of wins to losses. And for some players, that would be terrific, but not for someone of her caliber. She's got losses to, I mean, this isn't surprising, Jelena Ostapenko, her nemesis, Coco Gauff, who's been playing absolutely terrific, and Danielle Collins, who can blow anybody off the court on a given day if she's clicking. So those are 3 great players for sure, but those are also players that in the past Iga would have found a way to get through. And unfortunately for her, it looks like Ostapenko again, potentially, in the round of 16. And the draw doesn't bode well for Iga either when I look at it here, Ben.
Yeah, I agree. And if I scroll down and take a look at where Iga Swiatek has landed in this draw, and you mentioned we talked about the 5th seed being so unusual. I think she, of course, survives this first match against Tramkova, and we'll see if she maybe gets some first week momentum. Emma Raducanu, if that happens, would be a blockbuster matchup in the second round. And then I already think there could be a little danger lurking early on with 26 seed Marta Kostyuk of Ukraine, who's a very dangerous, talented player. But you're right, like Jelena Ostapenko, that's the big, scary name that if she gets there, that's always the question mark with Ostapenko.
Sure.
Is she going to put it all together to win her first few matches and get that opportunity to play Iga? But her season has been, pretty phenomenal for her. Obviously, the title in Stuttgart and reaching finals of Dubai, and then 6-0 against Iga. Elena Rybakina, we've talked about the off-court stuff and major struggles for her this season. I'm not sure she's ready to put it together at the second Grand Slam of the season. Maybe I'll wait till Wimbledon. So
Hey, listen, man. I see Belinda Bencic taking her out in the first round. Like that is.
well, I have bad news for you.
Oh, did she pull out?
Belinda Bencic pulled out.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's too
She
bad.
pulled out. So if you see here in the draw, it's going to be a qualifier as Bencic was dealing with an injury, which is unfortunate.
Oh, that's too bad. And we've had Belinda Bencic on Matchpoint Canada several times over the years. Thanks so much again to her agent, Margin Ball, who sets us up with her on an annual basis. But that's too bad because I thought that was a very winnable match for her. When I look at this women's draw, it makes me think all I'm going to be doing for the next 2 weeks is watching these matches on TV because there's so many potential terrific ones out there. And I think the top half of the draw to me is incredibly loaded. It's a tough path. Let's just talk about Aryna Sabalenka, the number 1 seed, who's shown to be quite comfortable on clay the last couple of years. A threat on all surfaces, of course, and very deserving of that number 1 ranking with her consistency. Yeah. She's got a tough path where she might get Leilani Fernandez in the 3rd round. Amanda Anisimova, who's shown to be quite good on clay as well over the years, in the round of 16. Qinwen Zheng in the quarters, and then maybe Iga in the semis. I mean, that is a brutal draw for the number 1 seed, I think.
It's definitely a very challenging draw, especially when you talk about Zhang finally getting her first career win over Sabalenka just a couple weeks ago, which is highly motivating for her. First couple matches, I don't really see a problem for Sabalenka. Leylah Fernandez, we'll get to her. She's kind of had an up and down season, sort of winning a match then losing a match. Anisimova, she's a former semifinalist at the French. Like, I don't think we should overlook what she could do on this surface. Probably if you asked her, it wouldn't be her preferred favorite surface, but she's such a dangerous ball striker. And I think she's given immense trouble to Sabalenka in the past. I think their head-to-head might be 4-0.
Well, we saw her take out
Toronto
at the NBO last summer in Toronto. What was that in the semifinals, I think?
Exactly. Yes. Maybe even the quarters. I feel like she beat her earlier in the tournament. The other name that I have circled, maybe technically a dark horse because she's outside of the top 10. UT's Diana Schneider. Yeah. Quarterfinals of Rome. She pushed Iga 3 sets in Madrid. I love the way she plays. Lefty with that heavy forehand is going to work really well on this surface. And she's fearless. I talked with head coach Rob Steckley about seeing Diana Schneider at the Orange Bowl when she was a teenager, and Canadian Kayla Cross played Schneider and lost something like Love and Love, and Cross felt like, "Oh, I played so terrible," and Rob said, "She's gonna be an incredible player." Her structure and discipline on the court, you could tell. He saw right away, and, she keeps getting better and better every year, so we'll see if she can do something at the French this time.
I just drew a little arrow pointing up next to her name in the draw, meaning I think she's a player that's definitely on the rise and one to
Yep.
watch. So it wouldn't surprise me if she ended up with a second week run here as well. And hey, look, also in the top half is Jasmine Paolini, who is, I think, many people's pick to perhaps win this event. I've got her as my second choice, actually. I'll tell you my number one pick later, but
Okay.
it's just loaded. The top half is just loaded.
It
And,
is.
and then you look down at the bottom half, more wide open. I think Coco Gauff has like the parting of the seas here, almost to the semifinals. Um, I think Mira Andreeva has a terrific draw in the bottom half as well to potentially face Coco in the semis. And then you've got a lot of what I see here is like veteran names who could cause some problems or catch lightning in a bottle and kind of show us glimpses of the past. And that's Marketa Vondrousova, Ons Jabeur is down there, Naomi Osaka. I
Krejcikova.
know Osaka's had a little bit of clay court success recently too, albeit at a smaller tournament.
Yep.
Yeah, Krejcikova. Like, don't count out these veterans who know what it takes at a slam either.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's interesting because we haven't seen a clay court season whatsoever from Krejcikova, for example, who's won this title before. She's been basically out since the WTA finals last year with an injury. I think she's played one lead-up match. So I don't know, is she physically ready? We'll see, but obviously she has that great experience. Ons Jabeur played just a couple matches on the clay. She's been dealing with so many injuries, but again, she can turn it on in a heartbeat. Multiple Grand Slam finalists, very, very experienced. And Osaka, I mean, we can talk about some popcorn matches, but against Paula Badosa in the first round, that is a serious blockbuster. I'll be curious to see who gets through that one.
I might not change the channel from the women's matches. I might not even watch any men's matches the
Super
first week.
matchups.
There's so
True.
many good ones on the women's side. In terms of dark horses in the women's draw, Karolina Muhova to me is someone who's always dangerous.
Yep.
Vondrousova's had a good run at the French before, and of course she's a Wimbledon winner, so she can do it on multiple surfaces. Yulia Putintseva as someone who could just ruffle some feathers, perhaps. Like she might see Andreeva in the third round. Don't ever underestimate her. She's a fiery competitor and has had big upsets in the past. And another veteran to me is Alina Svitolina, one of the most talented women players, active female players, who's never won a Grand Slam. And I don't think she should be counted out of still having the capability to go on a deep run.
It's true, and she has a pretty nice draw here. You look at the quarter that she's landed in, opportunity. You had a post actually about Caroline Garcia, the French woman who's playing her final French Open this season, which she's had a fabulous career. It's kind of sad that injuries sort of halted what I thought was some incredible progress. She won the WTA finals a couple seasons ago. She was playing so well. She's been in the semis of slams before, got her ranking inside the top five. But we know sometimes injuries can take her toll. Such a great ball striker, great server, great competitor, and I expect she'll have an amazing send off in Paris.
And I always liked her attitude too. I thought she was a whole lot of fun. She had a lot of positivity to
Yep.
her. I loved her celebrations after the matches when she'd spread the wings and do the "Fly with Caro" was her tagline. We've seen her here in Canada numerous times. She played the main draw of the NBO and the OBN in Montreal 9 times over her career with a couple of quarterfinal finishes. And I will miss her, and I think it's pretty soon. She shared on Instagram that she's going to share more details of what's to come for her. She's got a very successful tennis podcast going on where she has a lot of her peers,
Yeah.
like Temporaries on, which is a good listen. And 31 years old, and she's ready for other things in life. So hats off to her. But I'll definitely miss her out there as well.
I'll give one other dark horse, I suppose, and then we'll get into the Canadian matchups and wrap up. She hasn't had the best of seasons, but she's right in this bracket here as 18th seed Donna Vekic, and just maybe returning to the French Open in Paris last summer. She won the silver medal and played some phenomenal tennis on the surface. So I think she's very comfortable at Roland Garros. And you look at the experience she gained last year as well, reaching semifinals of Wimbledon. I just think she's a big match player, and she always seems to turn up her best when it's Grand Slam season, and she has a pretty nice draw. Blinkova in the first round, I think she'll get through, and then maybe she's playing Garcia in the second round. Svitolina's in that corner, so it's kind of a corner of very experienced players. Siegemund as well, who's played so many Grand Slams. So I think that's an opportunity for Vekic to definitely make the fourth round and maybe go even a little further.
That's a good pick, and Vekic is helped out and coached at times by our friend Pam Shriver, who is a good friend of the podcast, so we're always wishing her well. In terms of wishing people well, let's look at the Canadians. We want to see them do well. Unfortunately, there aren't too many of them on the women's side as Bianca Andreescu falls in the second round of qualifying after holding match points against Hibino. Bianca, who kind of teased us a little bit with obviously the talent that she has and what she can do,
Yep.
defeating, oh my gosh, was it
Rybakina and Vekic.
Rybakina
Yep.
quite recently, but unfortunately not meant for her to be here in Paris. I mean, our big hope, I think, on either side, men's or women's draw, is the least experienced of all of them, and that is Vicky Mboko, who is into her first Grand Slam main draw, approaching the top 100 in the world. And my goodness, her 2025 could not have gotten off to a better start.
Unbelievable, her progression. And you think at the time, Mike, when you spoke to her, it was in February. I think she was 17-0 at that point. She'd won those consecutive ITF titles. I mean, we talked about it at large. She was too good for the ITF circuit and jumped the hoops so quickly, gets a main draw match win in Miami and pushes Paula Badosa 3 sets. She pushes Coco Gauff 3 sets on the clay after getting her first main draw win on that surface at a WTA 1000, and now like comfortably qualifying for the French Open. There were no hiccups through qualies. She won all those matches in straight sets, wrapped up with a victory over Kaya Yuvon 7-5, 6-3. She's fearless. She takes the court with such confidence. She trusts her game, so powerful. She hits big, and look, she would be in my dark horse category outside
Yes,
of any Canadian bias. I
agreed.
think she has a great opportunity to make a run starting with. I think she has a great chance to beat Lulu Sun in the very first round, who had kind of a magical Wimbledon run the other year. But I like Mboko on this surface. She doesn't seem to care what surface she's playing on, to be honest. She plays great anywhere. And then Peyton Stearns, good American player, but why not Mboko in that matchup as well?
Buddy, I like this starting match for Mboko very much against Lulu Sun. I have the Canadian coming through that one. Look, Vicky played on clay for quite a while the last couple of years over
She
in
did,
Europe.
yeah.
She played a ton of clay court matches. She's very comfortable on that surface, even though I think on hard court her game probably translates a little bit better. But a combination of the confidence, the youthful exuberance, and not knowing any better, why not go out there and win a few rounds? I think she could definitely cause some trouble, and we'd love to see that. She's a fantastic individual, wonderful personality. Go back and check out my chat with her in February if you haven't seen it. It offers a lot of insight into what she's been doing the last couple of years and why all of a sudden things are clicking for her. It's amazing, obviously, what you can do when you're healthy. But not only is she the only Canadian female aside from Leilani Fernandez in the singles draw for the women, but I think she gives us our best chance of all the Canadians in singles play this year.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh,
Also,
and you know
yeah,
what?
go
Sorry,
ahead.
just I'm gonna throw this in because it is tied to it, and I didn't want to forget, but she's also our most recent donor for our GoFundMe campaign, Ben,
Yes.
which was awfully nice to see. Again, kind of a host of Canadian players who've helped us out and appreciate what we do. And we don't want to belabor the point because we've mentioned it the last couple of weeks, but we do have our GoFundMe that's open, helping us out with many of our costs this year as we've gone fully independent on Matchpoint Canada, helping us with equipment costs, with hosting costs, with the work we put in behind the scenes, the travel that we're going to be doing later this year for tournaments as well. And Ben, maybe you want to add just a word here, but we've been really floored and thankful for any help that people have been able to do. And it has been challenging. We've had great support from Tennis Canada for 6 years, and financially that was obviously very helpful too. And we're going it alone, which is a little bit of an unsettling feeling, but it's nice to have the support of so many people, and it's encouraging in the work that we've been doing.
Yeah, it's been amazing, to have your support as, we're pushing through in our 7th year. Any amount helps. us immensely. And as you said, like want to have more tournament coverage through the summer, of course, starting with the National Bank Open, but doing our best to bring you all the great coverage that we can do, track down interviews with great players, and seeing the support not only from our listeners, it's just so nice, but directly from Canadian players who we've spoken to in the past. Knows that they like and respect our work, so it means the world for sure. If we kind of wrap up,
we got to make our
yeah, exactly. If we kind of wrap up on this women's side, I want to know. Yeah, let's leave with you. Which way are you leaning here for the women's field?
Okay, women, I'm gonna go with Mira Andreeva. I love her draw
I
in
knew
the
it.
bottom
I
half,
knew it.
and I've just been kicking myself for not. I mean, I picked her to win. What was it, Indian Wells back in March, or
Yeah,
yeah, and right, and look what happened. So this time, I'm fully confident. I might even put down $10. We'll see. And I don't ever talk about something like that, but I really feel strongly that this one's gonna have such a great career, and I love the draw that could get her going. So I'm going Mira Andreeva on the women's side, and because I don't think I made my men's pick earlier, but I'll end with that too. I'm gonna go with, and this one's a pretty obvious one, but Carlos Alcaraz to me is the lock.
good picks. Oh my God, my picks are going to be so boring. Honestly, I really consider picking Coco Gauff for this tournament. Because Mira Andreeva, as you said, has a great draw. Gauff has a really good draw at the bottom half of this field as well. As you said, I mean, she could, if she's playing well, she could coast to the semifinals. I just don't see anyone disrupting her on that path. I know Sabalenka has a difficult draw. I just think she's been so battle tested. She's got the perfect prep going in. She lost a match to Zhang. She lost a match to Ostapenko, but still finals in Stuttgart. She turns around, she wins Madrid. She beat Goff there. Iga Swiatek is so vulnerable right now. I'm not convinced that we see Iga in the quarters or the semis necessarily, just because she doesn't seem to have that confidence. And I think Sabalenka is a multi-surface threat. I think she can play great here too, and I believe she's going to win her first career French Open.
There you go. And are you siding with me in the men's side?
I will tell you, I considered Yannick Sinner. I briefly considered Casper Ruud until I remembered Sinner just destructing him on court in
Yeah.
64 minutes in Rome. Now I know conditions can change on the fly, and Sinner kind of played the perfect match. Uh, but too much firepower to just trust that. I think Casper Ruud is going to get himself towards the tail end of the tournament and run into one of these buzzsaws. But Carlos Alcaraz just knows how to elevate when necessary, get up for the big time matches. It feels like every time he faces the Onyx Sinner, he channels his very best tennis. And in the best of five format with so many options, I don't trust Alexander Zverev to win a Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic, to me, even though he's been playing well this week and might get that 100th title at the couple hours after this conversation, I I think there are too many question marks leading in, and for him to say he's facing a new reality, I'm not convinced he can last the full 2 weeks and win 7 matches here. I gotta go Carlos for his second career French Open title. Thank you guys so much for watching us at Matchpoint Canada. If you like our work, follow along, hit the subscribe button below.